Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accuses European states of financing anti-point outside the West Bank city of Nablus after he got out of his vehicle and charged towards troops who responded to the immediate threat. Since October of last year, the wave of violence has claimed the lives of 33 Israelis and 2 visiting U.S. citizens. At least 206 Palestinians have reportedly been killed, 140 of whom Israel said perpetrated terror attacks, while 66 Palestinians were killed during violent clashes with Israeli security forces. Now to another matter, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel was horrified by the heinous attack last week in France, in which an 85-year-old priest was brutally murdered when 2 Muslim attackers linked to the Islamic State interrupted a church service and forced a priest to his knees at the altar before slitting his throat. During Netanyahu's weekly cabinet meeting in Jerusalem, the Israeli leader also referred to a debate conducted by the French government regarding foreign bodies which finance organizations that harm the security of France, and drew a line of equivalence to challenges Israel is facing, noting that some of the foreign bodies that finance anti-Israeli organizations comprise European countries, including France, a fact that will be dealt with to assure that the dangerous phenomenon will be eradicated.
כולנו הזדעזענו מהפיגוע האכזרי בשבוע שעבר בצרפת. אני שמעתי בעניין על הדיון שמתנהל בממשלת צרפת בנושא מניעת מימון זר לגופים שפוגעים בביטחון אזרחי צרפת. זה נשמע לנו מוכר. גם אנחנו מוטרדים מתרומות כאלה לארגונים ששוללים את זכות קיומה של מדינת ישראל. אני ביקשתי לעשות בדיקה ראשונית. בבדיקה הזאת מצאנו תמיכה של מדינות אירופיות, לרבות צרפת, במספר ארגונים שמסיתים וקוראים להחרמת ישראל ואינם מכירים בזכות קיומה של מדינת ישראל. בקרוב אנחנו נשלים את הבדיקה ונציג את הממצאים לממשלת צרפת. אנחנו ניכנס איתם לדיון בעניין הזה, משום שטרור הוא טרור בכל מקום, והסתה היא הסתה שכנראה חובקת עולם. והטיפול צריך להיות אחיד בין הממשלות ככל שניתן.
Meanwhile, in France, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who arrived in Paris for an official visit, met with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in a bid to advance a potential 2-state solution to the decades-old conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. Reaching an agreement to end the long-standing conflict is a key focus for the American top diplomat, who has traveled extensively to the Middle East to meet leaders of both Israel and the Palestinians. Kerry is not proposing any fixed date for potential negotiations at this point, but has expressed hope of making progress to create what he defines as the right conditions for a resolution. Secretary Kerry also held a meeting with his French counterpart Jean-Marc Ayrault to discuss a French initiative aimed at advancing an Israeli-Palestinian peace process before a 2-state solution would become unviable. The meeting also focused on the situation in Syria after 5.5 years of a bloody conflict that has claimed the lives of more than 500,000 people. Now to the northern Syrian city of Aleppo, where pro-government forces tightened their grip around the besieged city, where the local governor said safe corridors were opened for civilians to escape the rebel-held areas. According to reports, 250,000 civilians still live in Aleppo's opposition-controlled eastern neighborhoods, effectively under siege since President Bashar Assad's army and allied militias, including the Lebanese group Hezbollah, cut off the last road into the rebel district in early July. Following the regime's successful siege, Russia announced it would start a large-scale humanitarian operation together with the Syrian government to help civilians in Aleppo, a move the United Nations defined as inadequate, urging Moscow to transfer the responsibility of the corridors to humanitarian bodies.
Our suggestion is to Russia to actually leave the corridors being established at their initiative to us. The UN and the humanitarian partners as you know what to do. They have an experience. That's our job. Bringing humanitarian supplies and assistance to civilians wherever they decide to be voluntarily is exactly why the UN is there for. Aleppo. The situation is extremely serious, no doubt. There is probably, we heard, 2 to 3 weeks of supply, and in view of the bombing of the warehouses, medical facilities, bakeries, and the need of treating wounded people when, in fact, the medical facility are being hit, the humanitarian situation is getting more and more concerning. The city is de facto besieged because it is almost militarily completely encircled. The clock is therefore ticking. There is no doubt about that.
The Mistura announced earlier this week that he aimed to restart the Syria peace talks during the month of August and urged both Washington and Moscow to take concrete steps forward, which is imperative to create a viable basis for a tangible framework. The Mistura, speaking after a meeting with the U.S. envoy to Syria, Michael Ratney, and Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Gennady Gatilov, said the United States and Russia both needed to do more work on the matter in the days coming to make a potential meeting possible.
We are all awaiting and urging the two co-chairs, which means Russia and the US, to expedite their own discussions on how to reduce violence along the lines of their own discussions in Moscow and then in Laos, between particularly Sergei Lavrov and John Kerry.
Now to the United States. IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot landed last night in the United States for meetings with the American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford. During the course of the visit, Eisenkot and his counterpart are expected to conduct a series of work meetings focused on the current security challenges both Israel and the United States are facing, the regional security assessments in the Middle East, and the ongoing military cooperation between the two countries. Thank you for watching us. You can also watch us at TV7israelnews.com or TV7.fi. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@tv7.fi. For more updates from Israel and the region, please join our Facebook page at TV7 Israel News. Praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. Jonathan Hassan, Erev Tov and Shavua Tov. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
In order to donate to TV7 Israel News, please follow these simple steps. First, press the Donate logo located at the bottom left side of TV7 Israel News Facebook page, or on the Donate tab at the head of the page. Then insert the amount you'd like to donate, and fill in your credit card information. Just like this. And press Review Donation and continue. After reviewing your donation details, please press Donate to finalize your donation. That's it! Your donation is now complete, and an email with your donation details has been sent to your email address. You can also print your donation receipt by pressing the link here. Thank you for supporting TV7 Israel News.